By the early 7th century, the geopolitical map was locked in a brutal stalemate. Two absolute superpowers, the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Persian Empire, controlled the known world. But decades of continuous, grinding warfare had bled both giants dry. Their heavy infantry, massive siege trains, and rigid administrative systems drained treasuries and exhausted their militaries. These empires relied on dense, static power. The sheer scale of the Arch of Khosrow reveals the Sassanid approach to defense: massive, immovable brick architecture designed to anchor heavily fortified borders. Because they were entirely focused on each other, they completely ignored the Arabian Peninsula to their south. To them, it was an impassable, fractured wasteland of nomadic tribes. That mutual exhaustion created a massive power vacuum. The old world was exhausted, entirely blind to a kinetic threat quietly organizing in the desert. Pre-Islamic Arabia was intensely fragmented. The Bedouin tribes survived through constant raiding, bound only by strict codes of blood revenge and localized polytheism. The emergence of Islam and the leadership of Muhammad acted as a sudden unifying force. Mecca, and specifically the Kaaba, provided a centralized physical and spiritual focal point. This new religion offered a shared identity that cleanly overrode generations of tribal feuds. Rivals who previously fought over scarce desert resources now fought for a common objective. They codified this alliance through a single text, the Quran, which cemented their collective purpose in a formalized Arabic language. A population previously locked in localized violence was now a unified military apparatus, fully aligned and pointed outward at the exhausted empires next door. The newly formed Rashidun Caliphate expanded through a hyper-mobile doctrine known as razzia, or raiding. They completely bypassed the slow, heavy siege warfare that defined the Byzantines and Persians. Their central logistical advantage was the camel. These pack animals allowed troops to carry supplies across extreme, arid terrain without requiring established supply lines. Using the camel, Arab commanders treated the deadly, waterless desert exactly like a navigable ocean. They ignored paved roads and predictable river valleys. This extreme mobility meant Muslim forces could strike heavily armored, road-tethered enemies from entirely undefended angles. If faced with a superior force, they retreated back into the sands, where heavy imperial troops could not survive a pursuit. The Byzantine and Sassanid armies marched out expecting a conventional border war. Instead, they walked into a masterclass of asymmetric warfare and exhaustion. Arab commanders maximized this advantage. General Khalid ibn al-Walid stripped his most veteran fighters to form the Mobile Guard, an elite cavalry strike force built purely for speed. At the battles of Yarmouk and Al-Qadisiyah, Arab forces flowed seamlessly around rigid Byzantine and Sassanid lines, tearing apart the veteran armies of both empires. The Sassanids suffered total systemic collapse. Their territorial boundary, held for 4 centuries, was rapidly consumed by the expanding caliphate. In just 2 decades, the ancient geopolitical structure of the Middle East was systematically dismantled by an opponent it could neither predict nor catch. The subsequent Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates recognized the value of the lands they had conquered. They kept the physical and intellectual infrastructure intact. They retained local Persian bureaucrats to manage tax systems and rapidly translated Greek texts on philosophy and medicine to fuel their own administrations. You see this physical synthesis in their monumental architecture. The Dome of the Rock successfully blends new Islamic authority with established Byzantine geometric design. This architectural evolution stretched across continents. The repeating red and white arches of Cordoba in Spain proved the massive geographic reach of this cultural synthesis. The early caliphates understood that military expansion has a limit. To survive long-term, they transitioned their momentum from the sword to the mind. They built Baghdad into the preeminent city of the medieval world, establishing the House of Wisdom as a global hub for scholars, translators, and scientists. This brass astrolabe displays the intricate mechanical complexity of their engineering. During this period, scholars mapped the stars with exact precision, formalized algebra, and pioneered optics. A marginalized desert population unified their martial culture to break the old empires. In their place, they engineered a highly advanced civilization whose intellectual and territorial boundaries define the modern Middle East.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to NovaMind for more inspiring thoughts and ideas.